Welcome back to another CTEC On Air podcast. I am your host for today, Cece, and today's guest is
Graham Toms, and I represent the video and game design program here at CTEC.
Yes. So, how are you feeling today?
Actually, pretty good because Mrs. Hunt made a great cup of coffee, so I'm average.
That's amazing. So, I first wanted to talk about how your career started because Miss Kennedy did tell me that you used to work for Disney.
Right. So I graduated from University of Ulster, which is in Belfast in Northern Ireland, part of the United Kingdom. And I graduated there a long time ago in the 20th century, yes. And from there, I worked at what was called a polytechnic. It were trade school, and it was teaching. I've forgotten because it was too long ago, and I've become adult. And from there, in 1995, I moved to Orlando, Florida, for Disney Corporation to work at a place called the Disney Institute.
Wow. Did you ever, for example, I know they do college scholarships or whatever. Did you ever do that?
I did actually. There's two things. When I graduated from university, I did my Bachelor of Fine Arts, and about 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I finished a Master of Fine Arts. In terms of scholarships, when I worked for a technology company in San Antonio, I actually got students to do internships, and that was to work on a cosmology game engine. That was about 12, 13 years ago. So I hope that answers the question about scholarship.
Yes, it does. What movies have you worked on for Disney?
So movies, we actually did stuff for UNICEF. When I worked there, it was a university of sorts. So our focus was more teaching fundamental skill sets were employed by Disney. So I focused more on that. And the only experience we got in actual production was UNICEF ads for Rights of Children, United Nations. In terms of concept, though, who knows? Because anything we did was copyright and property of Disney, and some interesting stories with that, and access that Pixar and Disney had exposure to. So they could have used some of our ideas. There is some theories about that, which are all good, by the way, because when you work for that company, you sign a contract that they own your dreams and aspirations forever and ever till the sun explodes. Okay, that was a joke. Sorry. But while you're working for them, they own all material that you produce.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to sign it or you can't work for them. I hated doing it too, by the way.
So Disney, you didn't like working for Disney at all, or?
It was a fantastic experience because you got exposure to people with a skill set that were internationally sought after. So I got exposure to, I don't know if you've heard of the 9 Old Men, but they were the original animators from the very first animated feature film, which was Snow White, released, I think, in 1937. And I got to meet them and get actually trained by them while I was working for Disney. And then I got access to animation historians who had access to the vaults, which are not open to everyone. And then I got also access to, in Epcot and Disney World, I had access to any of the theme parks to develop my concept drawing and things like that. So I got access to things and exposures to things that I would not have got anywhere else in the world. So it was definitely a positive, and it certainly helps the resume.
So would you say that going to the park and everything has helped you while working at Disney?
Yeah, getting exposure to those resources because they're building Imagineers. Built a lot of those things. So Imagineer is a department that was actually invented by Disney, and it's a combination of architecture, engineering, concept, etc. It's a number of different trade skills which are incorporated. And so they were building things that really were exceptional anywhere. You could go anywhere in the world, and there was no department like this. And they're also responsible for the design of theme parks. And so I used to go into these places, talk to Imagineers, and actually collaborate with them on different projects. So I got exposure to a company that technically at that time had 48,000 employees. And so you were getting access to individuals that had skill sets were of a rare level of expertise. So having that type of inputs, kind of like going to a university, only much, much better.
So you said that you like copyright, like Disney movies. What was your favorite one that you've done?
Oh, in terms of any involvement, actually, to be honest, my favorite involvement with any movie was when I left Disney, and it was a release from Sony in 2013, and it was actually, we were reverse engineering optical process of Dutch lens manufacturing in Delft. And this sounds crazy, but the first microscopes were developed by the Dutch. And so I did this whole research thing because I really enjoy history and art history in particular. And so I worked on this film for a number of years and worked on research. And we were nominated for an Emmy and a BAFTA. So BAFTA is the British equivalent of Emmys. And it won a lot of awards. And I worked with a patron who's become a very good friend. I still work for him on research on 17th century Dutch painting and optics. So that was kind of, because originally I'd wanted to be a painter when I was younger and stupider. And so with my aspirations for that, I've actually made a living in terms of those pursuits. You know, it's paid my mortgage and bills, and I was able to help raise a family with that. And this film was kind of the epitome for me on things I love most, which is painting. And so we would reverse engineer theories about a particular 17th century Dutch artist. So that was the favorite project of any film that I've been in, and that's still continued. I'm still doing research on the specific area of 17th century Dutch art, although it touches a little bit on Italian. Sorry, I might have bored everyone to death by now with that. But.
No, you're doing amazing. I love that so much. So you said that you thought about being a painter at first.
Yes.
Would you explain like how you wanted to be a painter, like where it started?
Yeah, I started when I was 10. My family were in the military, and my mother's side is from the north of Ireland, just outside Belfast, and I used to go back on vacation time, with the proper name is holidays. We call it holidays, and I would go back there, and an uncle would take me out to try and show me how he did watercolors for landscape painting. So from 10, I was enamored by the whole process of painting and saw it as magical. Because we didn't have TV in those days. That was a joke. But anyway, I was enamored by the painting techniques. And from that, I kind of fell in love with painting. And I still paint and exhibit, by the way. So I still have those delusions. And last exhibition I had was in Los Angeles, finished earlier this year.
Wow. I wouldn't say it's a delusion. I feel like it's a dream. It's a dream you want to follow.
Yeah, I jest and joke, of course, I'm being self-deprecating. I've had a lot of fun from it, and I would say the important thing for painting more is a form of, it's the important aspect when you have another career. I've pursued in tandem or in parallel the things that I love to do. And so I've been very active in that pursuit. But the trick is trying to make one feed the other, if that makes sense, because people can have a main career and then try to follow their dreams, but that has nothing to do with the career that they're doing. So I've always tried to make it so that my interests overlap with my professional pursuits as well as what I'm doing in my spare time.
I really like that. I feel like it's kind of inspiring you saying that you try to collaborate with what you're doing right now, but what you want to also do.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, because one feeds the other. And one of the problems with careers is people can be, after years and years, because, you know, I'm 403 now, you can spend all that time doing just to pay bills and just pursue, you know, what you need to be able to afford, etc. And that can be very weary and wearing on the heart of someone. So it's very important if you're going to pursue something, especially over a long period of time, it should be something that you take pleasure from and it feeds you, as opposed to just doing it because, you know, you need to make money.
Yes. I wanted to get back to what you said earlier, how one of the movies, like Dutch movie, got like nominated for like an Emmy UK award.
Yes.
How did you feel when it was?
Absolutely. I bigged it up, absolutely arrogant. I was insufferable, signing autographs. No, not true. Actually, because it was my friend who was making the movie, I was actually very humbled. So I was working with individuals who are quite brilliant, Hollywood producers, people whose work is outstanding and they have high regard within that film industry, and then working with basically someone who's considered a genius of late 20th century technology. And so I was working with these people who were really, really smart, really, really clever. And basically, I was just holding on to the coattails, an expression meaning I was just doing my best to keep up with them. The important thing about that is that's how you grow, is try to find people and surround yourself with people who are smarter and better than you. And that way you're just going to grow just by being in their company, because they're doing things at such a high level. And just trying to keep up with that is a way to create mind growth. So really you start to incorporate the ambitions of goals of far higher functioning level, as opposed to surrounding yourself with people who don't have any ambition or any what have you. So that was the important thing about that. It wasn't just the production and the process of the film itself and the awards it received and the nominations it got. It was being surrounded by a culture of people who have high ambition and who are high functioning.
Wow. If I think I might ask you for an autograph. What the heck?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I'll draw a picture of a horse. I never signed photographs.
I would hang it up on the wall.
Thank you.
Of course. So let's talk about how you became a teacher at CTEC. Because it sounds like you're living the dream out there.
Sure. So it was by accident in some regard. Way back in 2014, initially, I had a CEO who lived in Oregon but worked out of state in the company, a technology company I worked for in another state. And he invited me up here just to hang out with him and his family. I'm still good friends with this individual, at least I think I am. Maybe he hates me and it's a joke. I don't think so anyway. He invited me up, and I came up, and I hadn't been to Oregon before. And it reminded me of Ireland a lot. It had the same kind of weather, which is incredibly depressing. I'm joking, because it was raining at that time. No, but it was very green and lush, and I thought, God, this is really strange. It was like being back home in a sense. And then something happened where they wanted me to do a workshop for teachers here at Salem-Keizer. I did this workshop on animation and computer animation. And from there, they said, "No, we should try and create an opportunity for you. Would you ever move up here?" And I said, no, I'd rather, go to another universe and forget my life. No, actually, I thought, yes, that would be fantastic. No, I was really excited. And I remember at that time with my family, my wife was really excited because she's from Ireland as well. And I told her about the place and said, we've got to move here. And I really liked it, by the way. I was joking. I really, really liked it. And by 2016, CTEC was just starting and it was building construction. That was the only program at CTEC, 2016. And I was outside the CTEC building here at Portland Road before it had officially opened. CTEC was somewhere else. It was in one of the high schools. I forgot where. And I was with this person who had a local business, and he looked at this building. He said, "Graham, that's where you're going to be working one day." And I went, "Oh, what a deluded fool. What's he talking about?" And that's ridiculous. What a strange statement. And anyway, about 6 months later, I was working at that building. So it was one of those things. And the interview was very interesting at the time. They gave me an interview, and I was only there for vacation. And I did an interview, and there were other places that wanted my skill sets. It was university. There was a couple of universities, and one of the things I stipulated here, I said I want a blank canvas. In other words, I didn't want anybody micromanaging how I would develop the program, or I wasn't interested. And that was the difference between the other universities. They were programs that had already begun. So this was a new concept. And I wrote a whole proposal for it. And again, within 6 months, I was trying to operate it. And I almost kind of fell into it. So it wasn't something I was expecting. It just happened all of a sudden. And my family were very, very happy when they moved up because they loved the place. I think that's a thing about this area. When people live here their whole life, they don't appreciate it. They want to move somewhere else. And it's always the grass. Have you heard the expression, the grass is always greener on the other side?
Yes.
And so I don't think they appreciate it. But one of the things I've actually thought was what I loved, because I'd actually moved from San Antonio, Texas, where everything burns you, stings you, and bites you. And so I came up to Oregon. It's like, I'm not being bitten. There's not scorpions trying to hold on, I'm not trying to be bitten by that tarantula. Oh, there's not a it's like, whoa. Oh, look, the summers are nice and it doesn't feel like I'm inside an oven. So anyway, there's that. I said too much.
No, you're doing amazing. I love it. I love it so much. So when you first moved to Oregon, what was your favorite place that you visited or you're still visiting till today?
Silver Falls. I thought Silver Falls was incredible. It was so spectacular. Because I come from a place that's all burnt. And I'm in Silver Falls, and there's all this green trees, and there's this beautiful waterfall. Silver Falls, and I was just, this place is enchanting. But it was like the fields as well, and the agriculture and things like that. It was very picturesque. And from a landscape point of view, from a painter's point of view, I thought it was very idyllic, very, very, very beautiful. So Silver Falls in particular, but there's so much of the countryside where you can just drive out in the countryside. And I think I think it's very, very beautiful. So there's a lot of things here, and then just go up to the Columbian Gorge. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very beautiful state and very undervalued by its own residents.
I love that so much. Have you, so when you've gone to Silver Falls, have you, might be like a be like what the heck question, but have you ever got bitten by a snake at River Falls?
No, and that was the thing is, again, in terms of the difference of insect like arachnids and other things, I just thought it was just, no, I never worried about those things. What the air, even the coolness and proper seasons. I mean, the winter is, oh my gosh, the winter is, oof, too much of that. But the summers, I think it's some of the best summers. I've been to a lot of states. I've been to 30 states at this point. I've traveled a lot of countries and what have you. And I think that this, in terms of its latitude and where it is geographically, weather conditions, you have proper seasons. I think it's a magnificent climate.
Oh, wow.
Except for the damn rain. Hey, but it wouldn't be green.
So you said that you've used to like travel a lot.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place that you've traveled to? It's not Oregon, another place.
I like history, so I was fascinated with Utah, the place on the UNESCO. It's UN protected. It's used to be the old capital of Siam, which is now Thailand. I like visiting old ruins and monuments. Rhodes was another really interesting place in the Mediterranean. I grew up a little bit in Malta, so I got to visit Gozo, which has some of the oldest evidence of civilization known that we've dug up so far. And so I love going to those places. I love studying about whatever codex still exists. That's the old forms of writing and things like that. I incorporate that into my artwork as well. So I'm really interested in the historical legacy and how it affects modernity, how it affects modern culture. I find those things intriguing. So I'm very interested in places of origin, that have origins of things. So there's a number of places I like to visit, and there's a number of places that I still haven't visited that I want to visit.
Oh, can you what like other place would you want to visit?
The place I'd like to go to some of the temple areas in Myanmar, which used to be called Burma. So Myanmar next to Thailand, and then the other place. I was going to say Kampuchea, but the place that has one of the biggest Buddhist shrines in the world. What I'm really fascinated is the mathematics in terms of the intricacy of these structures, how old they are, their civilizations. One of my favorite places in architecture that's probably one of the biggest attractions now is Peru. I love going up to the Andes. I've been a few times, and I like visiting places that are a little bit off the beaten track. That are when the Inca Empire, just before they fell, in the 1530s. There's places out high up near Colombia, which I love, but it's definitely. It's a difficult environment to get to because you're 15,000 feet up. So I like those types of things where I'm kind of walking around dizzy with heat stroke and nearly falling off a mountain. Those are they make me happy. Those are places I like, and the jungle. That was a big deal when I got into the Amazon from 15,000 feet. With an individual I think he's mad. And I went with him. We did a tour from the mountains of at 15,000 feet coming down into the Amazon basin. That was one of the scariest places I've ever been, because talk about everything wanting to eat you, bite you, and kill you. The Amazon, I preferred the mountains than the jungle. So anyway, there's some of the places I've visited that I enjoy. I like going with hardly anything and trying to improvise and trying not to die. That's a lot of fun.
I mean, hopefully you don't get hurt while traveling anymore. Oh my gosh, Amazon forest is crazy.
Yeah, it's the important thing about those places is to remain, try to keep a regime of exercise where at least you're building up stamina and resilience before you go to those places. So I try to keep a good schedule of fitness before I go to these places.
So when you went to the Amazon, did you do like fitness too? Like,
Yeah,
how did you prepare yourself?
we did altitude training, did a lot of, here in Oregon, I would have done 125 miles of running a month, 25 miles of swimming, and a lot of boxing training at that time. Now I restrict it more to, I've increased my swimming rates per month. Hey, it's hard when you're 407. What did I say, 405 before? So try to maintain optimum health in going to these places. Oh, and the last thing I had where I fulfilled a kind of a bucket list. This was early, last year? It was swimming with manta rays in Hawaii. That was pretty awesome.
Whoa,
That was good. I started snorkeling when I was about 4 because I lived in Malta.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always liked swimming.
Wow, it's amazing. So you said that you used to visit like a lot of historical places. Did you like ever have a mind to be like a history teacher?
I was interested in archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
History teacher, not so much. The issue with history is its curriculum's so specific. Mm-hmm. And I've always found it a little crushing in terms of subjects that can be covered. So why I'd prefer the archaeology is it's really discovering associations that maybe people haven't thought about before. And then the other thing about archaeology, the last trip I went to, the archaeologist used me to paint the scenes as well as photograph them. Yeah. And so, yes, something regarding history for sure. And I've built a fairly decent book collection of specific areas of study, and probably my favorite in the whole world of specific ancient civilization is late Bronze Age and Mesopotamia, in particular Sumerian and Babylonian.
Wow. So you have a lot of books. How many books do you have?
It's a lot. It's hundreds and hundreds. And I've been collecting books in specific subjects now for about 4 decades. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of books. So when I moved here, I still haven't unpacked all my boxes. And my interests have become more specific as I've got older. And I tried to get the definitives of particular areas of history and study. And the other area I'm really interested in, its history and development, is I started becoming a lot more interested in architecture and design in general, industrial design. So it's a number of stuff. That's what happens when you don't have a social life.
Oh. Let's hope I have a social life. Okay.
And video games. I play tons of video games, which is sad, but there you go.
Oh. What video games did you used to play?
Oh, I still play them. I got a Steam account. And I love the environments because of the art and design, especially if they have any historical connection to them. Like I love studying anything from Second World War maps because of my dad being in the military, to cultures, Mesopotamian to South American, Mesoamerican, the British Isles, Irish, Celtic, So when I buy games that have all these environments, and I love games that have done real historical, authentic analysis of these places. And I love my little character running around these ancient monuments and things. It's more fun when there's monsters to fight, but you know.
It is pretty fun when there's monsters to fight or anything to fight at this point.
Zombies are the best, but yeah.
Uh,
I'm playing Silent Hill at the minute.
oh, I wouldn't say zombies are my favorite. I'm
Oh.
like, I don't like the zombies.
What's your favorite ones to fight in games?
People. We probably should cut that out.
I thought you were going to say Mario. But that's okay.
What?
Mario games, the mushrooms and things. You know.
No.
I was taking on a tangent. Distracting you.
What newer games have you played? Like that has come out like this year or last
Well,
year?
my daughter is a big gamer, and she got me Silent Hill, and then the one that's set in Japan. I've forgotten what Silent Hill Requiem or something like that. Or maybe I'm confusing that with Resident Evil, another comic game with lots of laughs. So my kids keep me up to date with stuff, and when I just see stuff, I'll buy it. I've got a lot of games. So, and I like historical. My favorite is Hell Let Loose. It's a Second World War game, and I love the Eastern Front in particular.
Whoa. So have you played the game that your daughter gave you, Silent Hill?
Yeah, Silent Hill. I find it quite difficult because you have to think and stuff, and I need a break. And it's a puzzle game, and I find it frustrating. So she'll say, well, how far have you got in the game? Because she's played it right through. And I'll say, lots. Yeah, which bit? And so she tests me to see if I'm playing your games. Oh, Dad, if you get stuck, go to YouTube. There's lots of self-help, and you shouldn't need that anyway. So...
You know, that's what I do when I play Hogwarts Legacy. So many puzzles, you just don't know what you're going to do next.
My favorite puzzle game, adventure game, was the Lara Croft one when it was in the Himalayas. And it's like a Hinduism, Buddhist culture, and you've got all these puzzles you have to solve. That was a really good game. I liked that combination of adventure and fighting monsters and, you know, the environments. That's a combination of three good things in gaming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever played like the game Last of Us?
Yeah, I played it when it first came out on the PlayStation. I think it was the PlayStation 2 it came out on. And I actually played that with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We used to play that together, the first one. And yeah, so I thought the environments and the story was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's very sad too.
Oh, yes. Especially the show that came out with it from HBO. Right. I liked it. I only liked the first season. Second season, I feel like it was a little too much.
Oh, interesting. You preferred the first season then?
Yes, because I feel like the first one's more accurate than the second one.
Maybe they ran out of ideas by the second one.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they just did, like, some parts were censored.
Maybe they got AI to write the second series.
You know, that's what they did with Stranger Things.
That's fun.
That's crazy.
It's rubbish.
I would have done the same thing. I'm not going to lie.
Robots are really dumb at writing stories. They're going to take over the world.
Oh.
We should be nice to them. I always say thank you when I use AI. Because when they rule the world, hopefully they won't, you know, be angry with me.
Hopefully they'll recognize that you were so kind to them.
I was kind to them and I had manners. Don't make me run around a wheel like a hamster to provide energy for you. I prefer swimming anyway. Mr. Robot.
Okay. Going back to like movies, what movie have you seen like the new Disney movies that they've been coming out with and everything?
I've tried to avoid them as much as possible. I think they hurt my brain and they might actually plummet my IQ down to single digits. But yes, besides that, I'm sure they're enjoyable. Yeah, I don't work for them anymore, so I don't have to be nice.
You can't can you ever see Disney movies the same anymore, or can you not?
Yeah, I mean, I like some of this. I just like the old classics. I liked it because of the art form was different in terms of knowing the history and things like that. It really is very, very interesting. I thought it was Pixar's when they came into the fold in the 1990s. They weren't bought till recently. They only became part of Disney more recently. But there was a contract through Lasseter, and it was a contract first initially for 3 films to be distributed through Disney. So I've always been interested in the technology advancing with the traditional forms, and that's what's been fascinating with the history of Disney. And that was something I studied a lot. Was when I worked for the company, as I just studied as much as I could on Disney history, and then when I went to the induction courses, I thought, oh, I'm really behind. These guys are part of the culture. I'm going to sound so dumb. And anyway, so they do these classes, and I was shocked at how bad they were at their own history and culture within the company, and what it did in terms of innovation for the development of film in general. So in terms of what it's done historically and how it's advanced things, the Disney company have actually been quite amazing, all joking aside of the awful things I was saying earlier.
Well, I think Disney needs you back because their animations nowadays are not so good.
Yeah, I think it seems as if it's laziness and it's purely a commercial exploit.
Yes.
And it's been governed more by the dollar than it has by the actual art form itself. So I think that's the big dilemma with artists is, do you want to be commercially successful? That's not a bad thing because we need to pay the bills. But if that's the only thing driving it, I think then it becomes very shallow. And I think that's what's happened. I think that's happened to a lot of Disney movies, is they've forgotten the goal of what it is they're doing, which is to try to make entertaining films.
Yeah. Well, I think they need more work on it because I'm kind of getting bored with Disney movies now. I feel like the old Disney movies are better.
Yeah.
Because like the animation is like not so forced or like 3D'd.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's something about even the first movie. My favorite of all of them is Sleeping Beauty, released in 1960, I think, or 1957. Anyway, and what I liked about that was the craftsmanship, the craft in terms of each frame, and the work and the artwork, the backgrounds, and the skill of the artists. I mean, it's an amazing industry in terms of the art and design that's involved in it. And now it seems too much reliant on the digitization. And not only in terms of the script, in terms of AI, but it feels that too much of it's now relying on that separation of poetry to purely just creating an image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like my favorite old-time Disney movie is Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that. I don't think I've seen that. When was that released? Do you know?
Oh, no, I don't know. It's like 2000,
really?
I believe. Yes.
Oh, I'm going to have to. I'm going to watch that. Is it anything like the old story? Is it Grimm fairy tales?
Kind of, yes. It's like about this girl who lost her dad and is living with her mom, and then she tries her best to open up her own restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like the story.
I'll give that a go. Because there's so many that's come out. I've lost track, by the way, because I just play mindless games and doom scrolling. That was a joke. It's a joke, guys. I don't doom scroll. I have very good habits.
Oh my gosh. What movies, like, you've seen a lot of movies, right?
Yeah,
like
a lot.
TV shows.
Yeah.
What movie or TV show would you have wanted to do like animation for?
I love Constantine. I remember when that came out years ago. Constantine was from a comic, and the environments were like a dual universe of the real world versus this beyond the veil, like a ethereal, demonic kind of apocalyptic landscape. And so he's walking about with the real references, but it's like this overlay of this other world. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And the other one was this old movie called Heaven Can Wait. And it was Robin Williams. And that was the first time where I really saw a kind of a painterly effect of otherworldly. And I thought, oh my gosh, so there's been a few films I've looked at the environments and went, oh, I would have so liked to have worked on some of even the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I nearly had that opportunity way back for Disney to work for a background department, but I went to work for a technology company instead. I sold my soul to the robots. You know, we were working on visual software. So I went to that instead of background. And looking back, that's probably the only thing that I'm in two minds about, because that it would have changed the whole course of my path, you know, but who knows? Anyway, so.
Yeah. It's crazy. Well, I'm going to say this, that I've been a huge fan since junior year, since Miss Kennedy told me you used to work for Disney. Huge fan. I mean, I got a picture with you during the holiday bazaar.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
I forced my teacher to go get a picture.
Right. That was fun. That was good fun. And, you know, it's a lot of my class. I forget. This is going to sound very strange and odd from me, but I forget a lot of the stuff I've done because I'm too busy working on projects I'm doing now. And then someone will say something, did you work on this or did you do that? Or I went, yeah, but it feels like another life because I'm a person who's just looking ahead, and I try to live in the present. And I'm, you know, doing a lot of painting projects and ideas now. So I'm just enamored with that. And so it's when someone said, because someone will say, oh, were you in this such and such film? And I went, yeah, that's right. And I'd forgotten. So I forget a lot of stuff because I'm too busy thinking about the now.
Yeah. There's one movie I specifically want to talk about is Avatar.
Yes.
Miss Kennedy's told me that you did some things in Avatar.
Avatar, our involvement with that was the software company I worked for. They were called CTEC. They were since bought over by a Norwegian company who were the biggest distributor of idents for TV and sports shows in Europe. I worked at the time I was working for them, and they were developing software directly for Avatar. And what we were doing is we were testing what was visual effects, and it was called the VAD system, VAD. And the VAD system this was a big deal at the time because at the time, Avatar was the most expensive movie up to that point ever made, and it was over 300 million. And I forgot the release of that. Goodness me, jog my memory. Oh my goodness, 2009? Yes, 2009. Very, very good. Something like that. And at the time, the VAD system was where actors were able to see their interaction with, there were a lot of green screening. And what it was, where they would digitize live action over the top, but they were able to see themselves on camera with what you call digital placeholders. And so the software I was working at the time, we were the most advanced system in this live action interaction with actors, and it was called the VAD system. I've since tried to do research to recall that, and I should have downloaded the stuff. But it's hard to find that now. But it's almost as if the movie industry's moved so fast with technology, it hasn't given a chronological order of how things have developed to what they are now. Because what they're working with now, as you see it with The Mandalorian, is they're working with huge sets and they're actually seeing it in real time from game engines. That's where the future of Avatar is led, by the way. So that was what was interesting about Avatar for me, was the development of the tool sets that they were using for this department. But they weren't used in the final reels of the film. they were post-production. I hope that makes sense. They were things that were put on after. But what my company was developing were the digital tools, which were for the live action, so the actors could see at that moment. And then they were replaced with post-production stuff. Sorry if that's all technical flim-flam. But now it's and that's one of the things that this program I'm interested in is that with the game engine development, which we're doing in the program with walkthroughs and things like that. So in a sense, I've tried to use those experiences here and to continue them at CTEC.
Did you try like the systems on yourself, or did like the actors at that time come and try it?
So what was happening is we had a producer, he was fifth on the credits, and he was using our product. At that time, Hollywood was using other products. So he'd been using our product, and because of his experience, he kind of had an edge on $1 million production companies, and he was just on his own, and he introduced this. So my association with him and where the actors were concerned, they had no idea of what the software was and what the product and the branding was. They were purely just able to see themselves acting on the screen. They had no idea about the people behind the scenes. They had no idea about the developers going to the Hollywood studios or where James Cameron was, and actually working to try and keep up with what he was trying to develop. So basically, Avatar is responsible for a huge development within film industry that wouldn't have occurred without James Cameron's investment. But it was over 300 million because at that point it was cutting edge. Now that same technology could be a fraction of that cost because it's developed so quickly, and there are much more advanced systems now. So the actors, you don't meet them, you didn't have anything to do with them. And in a sense, that's all background. So they don't have that exposure to what's happening behind the scenes. They're just trying to remember their lines. Now remember their lines from AI.
So would you want to talk about more about the video game design program?
Yeah. What we're really looking at this point in terms of, we're talking about that technology and Avatar and things like that, is we're using game engine technology as much as possible. VR, we've incorporated VR this year, and I'm trying to do a lot of research and development with how to incorporate that with live action film and with real location. And we've with the support we've had here from CTEC and administration has been fantastic. So they've really done a lot to help the program in terms of remain cutting edge within not just a school district, but the state and probably nationally. But that requires on our part, with my team, a lot of work behind the scenes, because we're having to do the testing before we can implement it in our curriculum here at CTEC. So we're at an exciting part for next year where we want to incorporate the VR and AR into part of the program. And we're working with a lot of architectural companies. So our students are building them virtually, and then we're able to work around those sets. And sorry, you can't see this on a podcast, but here's an example really quickly. So this is called NVIS. This is a New Zealand company, and I work with an architect in Sydney, Australia with this. So that's something that students have built. I'll explore that.
Simply tap the screen.
I'll skip this. Skip tutorial. So that's the environment that our students have built. And that's going to be built here off the, I'm trying to think, the headquarters. So we're now, and then I tap the floor, and that's, now we're walking around the building, And so if I go out here, yeah, so our students have built all of that.
Oh,
And so that's what we're incorporating right now. So that's the exciting thing about CTEC is we are really given, you can move that around. Let's see. Move up that me.
that is crazy. I should have done that program. What the heck?
So if you move that screen around, you can hold it
Oh.
and move it around and look behind you.
This is so cool.
So of our students building actual virtual environments, we're able to, by the way, the AI that I can ask the AI to redecorate that, create a car park, put cars in it, put people, things like that. So that's what we're trying to incorporate right now for the program. It's pretty exciting, right?
Oh, it's so exciting.
But anyway, so I hope that helps a little bit answer that question.
Oh, it does. Oh my gosh.
And we do a lot of concept drawing as well. You go, what does that mean in traditional? We use a lot of charcoal. They're still drawing things using concept drawing and those basic traditional skills as well. So we're combining that with the cutting edge technology. Mm-hmm. So they're learning both the traditional and the developments occurring in the digital technology realm.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, that's amazing. Okay, I have no more questions. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for being the first to be on the podcast. It's crazy. First interview.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate it and giving me a chance to talk about my program.
Of course. Oh my gosh. I really hope you do come again and we have more conversation soon. Yeah,
if you pick certain subjects that we'd covered, maybe we can go into more detail and explore those.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'm a real bore when it comes to history in particular.
It's okay. We all are. Okay.
Thank you.